Yes, all, and welcome to another video on my channel. I'm Ali, the trans gamer girl, and this is another of my vlog posts. Well, it seems recently that there's been a bit of a shitstorm stirred up around the usage of a word, when used mostly by cis people towards trans people. And that word is, of course, brave. And the trans cabal are, of course, out in force. Now, I know I'm going to upset some people by using that phrase, but the sad truth is there is a subgroup of trans people out there that go around taking offence at everything and accusing even other trans people of being transphobic. And frankly, that gets right on my tits. Even the author of one of my favourite webcomics about a trans girl, by a trans girl, came under fire recently when their comic was labelled by a reviewer as not only transphobic, but as dangerous, simply because she didn't paint being trans as all sweetness and light and perfect, and showed that sometimes being trans and just being accepted can be a struggle. And it's those sort of people I mean when I say trans cabal. The type of person that argue that every trans narrative is different with one breath and then slap you down for not sharing their exact views on what it means to be trans with the next. Those sort of people. Now, back to this word. Now, this word is, of course, one of the things that brought it to the forefront is Will Smith's song Brave Man, I believe. Well, that's just in the comic, which features a trans man in the video. Of course, the song isn't about trans people, but can be applied to trans people. And Will decided to use a trans man for the video to highlight the plight of trans men, because most of the time when you hear about trans people in most media, it's about trans women. So he's highlighting that yes, there are trans men out there. I'm going to use one for the video for this song, which is a general thing, and good on him. And people lashing out at him because he's an ally, but he has no right to talk about trans, but that's a whole different issue. Now, this word. Now, one of the big arguments that against the usage of this word is that being called brave, although they acknowledge that it's meant as a compliment, is insulting because it furthers the mindset that being trans is fundamentally different and implicitly lesser than the experience of being trans. Which is just nonsense. Yes, sometimes there are deeper meanings behind what people say and a subtext hidden within their words. But sometimes there isn't. Sometimes things just mean what they mean on the surface. So, let's take a look at it, shall we? Am I brave for being trans? No, of course not. That's just silly. As someone isn't brave just for being trans or cis or gay or straight or black or white or even for having cancer or some other terrible disease. But on the other hand, anyone, including my partner, who has ever said to me that I am brave hasn't meant that I'm brave just for being who I am. And that's not what anyone means. When they have said it, they have said that I'm brave because they recognise that I made a choice. A choice that wasn't easy. A choice that risked me losing friends, losing family, risked being beaten up, raped, murdered, or all three, just for daring to walk down the street, use a public toilet, drinking in a bar, or ordering chicken in a chicken shop. All of these things, I might say, have happened. Not once, but many times. And that's part of the reason it took me so long to come out as trans and beginning my transition. It was reading all the horror stories that trans people had gone through. But still, I made a conscious choice. A choice to give up my comfortable, at that time, cis heteronormative life, knowing that it would end my marriage that I had been struggling to keep alive, that it could cause me to lose friends and in family, and indeed I have in some cases. I chose to put myself out there, to be judged by the world at large, by doctors, by psychologists, by people I just pass walking down the street every day. And it was scary. I could have lived out my life hiding my transness, only being the real me in secret or online, as thousands of other trans people do. Yet I would have been miserable. But that is how I had been for the past 30 odd years. So miserable, but safe, and with a support network that I could count on if I needed help. That was easy. Coming out as trans and risking that safety net for a shot of happiness, that was hard. Yes, it has been worth it. But coming out as trans doesn't necessarily mean the end of being miserable for everyone. Trans suicide statistics alone show that that's the case. But still, I don't see myself as having been brave, because I was terrified every single step of the way. Hell, I still feel that way from time to time. But at the same time, I recognise that when someone calls me brave, it's not an insult. And I don't take it that way. Because I recognise that when someone calls me brave, it's not a backhanded compliment or a thinly veiled insult insinuating that my trans being is lesser to being cis, but as an acknowledgement of the hard choices I made, of the risks I exposed myself to, and still expose myself to every single day, just by walking out my front door, just for trying to live my everyday life the same as everyone else does, all in the pursuit of just being myself and being happy. I'm not brave, but if people want to think of me that way, then I'm not going to deny that. Do I get upset because they don't understand that I don't feel that I'm brave? I suppose it took a certain amount of bravery to do what I did. But I still don't feel that way. But I don't think they're wrong for thinking that. And I'm not going to deny them that opinion of me, because that implicitly implies a sense of respect for my choice, for my choices, for the position I put myself in. And that's what the trans cabal miss. They see an implicit insult. I see an implicit respect. And that is, of course, just my opinion that I'm putting out there, just for balance to the common narrative that I've been seeing out there. Others are entitled to their opinions, and I respect that. And I just hope that they can respect mine too. Anyway, I am Ali, the trans gamer girl, signing off. And please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and to share this around, because it would really help my channel. So, until next time, please take care and have fun. Bye bye.